a black stain on human history. The Holocaust undeniably exemplifies the hatred and bigotry that exists in our world. Due to a fascist regime, many Germans were morally blind to what was happening right in front of them, believing that the extermination of the Jewish people would bring peace to the world and power to their country. However, there were those valiant enough to fight against this oppression, and it's important that we explore the violence of individualism and how some Germans came to realize the right thing to do, fighting for the greater good, rather than enabling evil from the shadows. In the poem, First It Came for the Jews by Martin Niemöller, he speaks disparagingly of human individualism and the vitality of collectivism under authority. Niemöller's experience serves as a window to ourselves as it represents the moral dilemmas we face under certain scrutiny. Throughout the poem, we see Niemöller repeatedly choose not to act against the oppression of others, when that oppression does not affect him personally, until he is ultimately thrown into the pit of the ones he's let fall through. This is shown in the line, "Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me." The epiphany Niemöller arrives at puts our human nature into perspective. It conveys the message that selfishness is inherent in our traits, and selflessness is only eventually realized when one undergoes the same mistreatment of their peers. However, the duality of this poem's message is apparent, as it serves the purpose of a mirror, one which reflects the narcissism and ignorance that dwells within our very being. Niemöller is not unique in his decisions to stand by and watch as his country fell apart under an authoritarian dictatorship. In each line, groups slowly began to dissipate, and there became fewer individuals brave enough to stand up not only for themselves, but the community as well. Niemöller's repeated use of the phrases, "First they came for, then they came for," show that as each group was targeted, their counterparts chose to stay silent, until they were eventually overtaken by the Nazi Party. It's imperative that we find significance in humanistic values, rather than let our own self-priority allow us to continue with the injustice of our contemporaries. Overall, it may be said that this text is both a poem and a mirror, due to its illustration of the common self-serving values many humans currently hold, and how we must stand united against a greater evil in order to achieve perfect peace and equality for all. However, this poem is only one man's experience. While it is true that it can represent the feelings of many people at the time, it's ignorance to assume all humans were hopelessly waiting for the day where they'd end up all alone with no one to help them. In order to truly explore the emotions of benevolence of a hero, we must delve into the story of Oskar Schindler, the man who single-handedly saves thousands of Jewish people. Through beautiful directing, Steven Spielberg was able to capture the experience of Oskar Schindler and paint it into an artful movie that stresses the important themes of the Holocaust, including recognizing your own privilege and using it to help those in need. The film Schindler's List is a window due to the strong messages of humanism in its writing and execution, teaching me how one kind German man in the Holocaust was able to revolt against the oppression of the Nazi Party, with individual acts of altruism that open our eyes to the virtues of the human race. In a conversation about what truly defines power, Oskar Schindler claims that power is when we have every justification to kill, and we don't. This phrase speaks volumes about the symbiotic relationship of obedience and authority. Regardless of race, creed, or origin, this film states that when the choice comes to a leader, a good leader, may decide to spare the life of another individual, and that is what symbolizes true power. Free will is a scary concept, and the imbalance of power between two humans is not only inherently dangerous, but makes self-control a complete gamble. However, this is non-specific to the aristocrat. This film proves over and over again that the willful ignorance of the Nazi Party is reflective of every human. We're introducing the girl in red. The girl running to the towns, clear to the eye, and everyone can see her standing out in the crowd. This character represents how obvious something can be, yet we pay no attention to it, or how America knew of the Holocaust yet did nothing about it. Humans are inherently selfish, and there's not a single thing we do that doesn't benefit ourselves in some capacity. Except, we see Schindler break the mirror. Saving over 1,200 Jewish people, he's rewarded with a ring inscribed, "Whoever saves one life, saves the world entire." While a race sits idly by and watches as the world burns, it's the one who steps up and decides to be different that defines anti-humanism. Overall, being both a window to the inequality of humans, as well as a mirror that reflects those inequalities onto the innate characteristics of us, Schindler's List proves that no change comes without breaking the mold. This film believes that without one man saving another, we will be confined to the cycle of inequality and inequity we have placed each other in since the inception of our race. See, ideals are a peculiar construct. We strive for success, but it's always every man for himself. This is why I believe the poem first that came for the Jews depicts a man sinking in dark waters, drowning along with many others just like him, and even though no one knows how to save each other, there's a mutual understanding that they're all drowning together. It's in Schindler's List where we discover the hidden altruism of ourselves. Oskar Schindler is a man who catches you, regardless of whether or not he could possibly understand the feeling a Jewish person felt. He's the man with the boat that comes out to save us, and though it's regrettable that we rely on the imbalance of power for our own survival, it's the principle of recognizing your own privilege and power, and using it to the benefit of others.